Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show with my celebrity co-host, the star and host of the new podcast premiering this spring, Jessica Javens is in the house. What's up, Jessica?
Hi, Andre. So happy to be here with you and co-hosting and starting my podcast and helping people achieve a life they love. Thank you so much for everything.
Before we introduce our guests, tell the viewers a little bit about the podcast and why you decided to do a podcast. We know your life has been filled with all kind of adventures and stuff, but also a little bit of learning at the same time. So tell us a little bit about the podcast and why the need for it.
Well, it started with my transformation, and then with that, a rediscovery of my passion of helping people to love a life love their life. So the podcast is a way of bringing all of that transformation in all quadrants of life. It could be financial, spiritual, relationships, mental, emotional, everything that you need to do to have a complete and happy life. So by bringing all of these different guests and talking to all of these other people who also went through transformation, I want to inspire all the rest of the world.
I think we need that in this world where everybody needs to share. Because I always tell people we're one microscope, one microorganisms away from each other. We all have a common ground and a common interest. I appreciate you bringing a new podcast to the world so the world can see it. Make sure it comes out this spring, right?
Yeah, and much more coming after.
Oh my God. Okay. Now let's go deeper. Today's guest. Oh my God, how do you explain today's guest? I've been blessed. I mean, we get so many outstanding guests on the show. It's crazy, but this one is unique. This lady is a bestseller. And I know you hear that all the time. Somebody say, I'm a bestseller. Okay, this is a bestseller. Her nutrition, her health, everything, but this is the tripped out part. Imagine losing everything. Imagine even losing your transportation. You got to ride a bicycle. That's some crazy shit, bicycle to work. And then having the ability to bounce back. And not just bounce back, but bounce back a millionaire.
Wow.
That shit sounds like some shit out of a movie.
Yeah, out of a
called
movie.
The Unbelievable.
Right.
So without further ado, we gonna let her tell this story. I'd like to welcome to the show the one, the only Miss Millionaire herself, Emmerich, to the show. How we doing, baby girl?
Well, thank you so much for having me on. It's such an honor. I'm very grateful to be here.
Before we get started with this beautiful journey of yours of definitely beast mindset, tell the viewers a little bit about who Maria is.
The Keto Queen. No, that's a title that other people have given me. I think I laugh at it. But most people do know what the keto diet is now. I wouldn't say everybody knows how to do it properly, but a lot of people know that trigger word, the keto diet. And for me, I've been doing it for 28 years, and I've been helping people transform their lives doing it for over 20. I think it can be a very powerful diet, helping people get off blood pressure medication. It reversed my PCOS. I've seen it help people with MS walk again. It's pretty transforming for people.
Before we get into that keto thing, before we get into, I didn't mean to cut you off. Let's go deeper. Your story goes way deeper than the keto diet. Let's get real. It goes way deeper. Let's go back. What was it like growing up for you? Because to lose everything and bounce back the way you did as a millionaire, dude, I want to know the story. Tell me a little bit about how that journey even started. How did you lose everything?
Well, I met my husband when I was only 17. I told him that I was told I couldn't have my own children. And so he's like, well, would you want to adopt kids? And I was like, yes, I would. I mean, I was married before I could legally drink alcohol. And we were still married to today, but we started adopting children. And I graduated college and I was going to, for nutrition and exercise physiology, but I was a rock climbing guide
Okay.
because I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I was like, I was just kind of buying time until the kids came. And so we were way past this adoption process, but it was a really bad time for the economy and my husband lost his job. Um, and when you lose your job with an adoption that has insurance and, pays all the bills, your adoption basically goes back to zero. So all that money we put into adoption went back to zero. It took years to get another job. We couldn't pay for our house anymore. Um, we ended up selling our cars. We just couldn't pay them anymore. And my depression kind of hit hard. I had a dear friend say, Maria, why don't you start a blog to raise and write a book? You have all these amazing recipes, put them into a book and raise money for your adoption. And I did. And it was kind of like, I went to the YMCA, I would work out there and I would sell them to people there. And my husband's like, this is really good. Let's put a barcode on it and sell it on Amazon. And before you know it, Halle Berry wrote the foreword for my last book because just people loved it. That went gangbusters. And I love to tell the story of how my first book started to my children. They're teenage boys now, but I see them smile and they realize how much we love them. And I'm gonna start crying, but it was a really, really hard journey. But nobody's gonna say I can't do something. And I wasn't gonna just wallow on the ground. It gave me a reason to wake up. I like hard work. I don't mind hard work. It was
Help,
a
help,
blessing.
Maria, help me. Jessica has adopted children as well. I
Oh,
don't understand the adoption process. I know you either one or two things. Either there's a reason you can't have children and you resort to adoption, or you just have a need to want to make a difference in a child's life. You and your husband's in the process of losing everything. I'm listening to your story, and my hats off to you for going the route of adoption and in the quest for wanting to raise children. But I noticed that you never gave up on that part of your life, even while going through all of that stuff. How how I won't even say, I know it's a deep commitment, but how did you and your husband manage to actually keep the dream alive? Because you're still in survival mode. Like, I'm not thinking about adoption at that particular point in my life. Does that make any sense?
it does. But I think that was the reason why I worked so hard. It
Mhm.
wasn't for it wasn't out of vain. It was out of love. Like I'm gonna cry, but it was out of love. You know?
Mhm.
We could have gone the route of fertility stuff, but it wasn't. We wanted to make a difference. It made it sound like, yeah, I couldn't have children, so we chose adoption. No, we wanted to make a difference. We
Mhm.
didn't want it wasn't out of vain. And it just
Take your
it's
time, babe. Take your time. I already know what that must be like because I heard Jessica's story as well, where she'll share a little bit about her journey down the adoption thing. But almost similar stories, but yours is definitely way different because you're dealing with some serious issues. You're losing your property, you're losing your home, you're trying to, keep your marriage together, but at the same time, you still are showing that deep compassion for wanting to have children. What do you think about that,
I,
Jessica?
I think her compassion is immense, and that what burns inside of her, and that catapult her to be able to not um, let her dream go. Her dream kept was that fire in her that never turned off, and I want to commend her for that. And this is very inspirational for everybody because so many people give up on their dream. So many people. Some people don't even know what their dreams are. And the fact that she did that at a young age and was able to be so resilient that no matter what happened, she had a laser focus. So congratulations for your children and for
Thank you.
making a difference.
I think when you see how many children are in the world that need a home, that's what made that drive just, and makes me sad because I'm sorry, I'm not a puddle. I'm a really strong woman. Uh, we wanted to adopt even more, but my husband, I don't know if you're familiar with Lyme disease.
Yes, I am.
It can really ruin a person's life. And the route we tried all these natural things to help him get better. It cost a pretty penny to help him try to get better. And then by the time it was a route that we decided to just help other people adopt more children rather than just us.
I want to hear about that.
Yeah, but before we do that, I'm gonna ask a key question here. I think you can resonate to. You mentioned something, and first of all, thanks for coming on the show. And this show does educate people, and you're educating me now because I know nothing really about the adoption agency at this point. But you said something that was real profound because of the tragedy that happened in your life, the loss of everything financially. You went back to zero. So before that happened, did you met with the adoption agency? Did you already, and it's going to be emotional because I need to know, did you already have the kids picked out that you wanted to be in to come home with, or that process happens after everything is completed? Then you go pick the children. How does that work?
We don't really get to pick. They kind of gave us pictures, and one of them just woke up right now. He's sitting over here. Morning, Kai. Morning, he says. No, they give you like the pictures close to when you go meet them. And that's a whole nother story. We got to meet them and adopt them in Ethiopia's eyes, but they didn't the United States didn't let us bring them home.
Oh.
So that's another story, but remind me of what your question was.
Did you get to, so you got to see the pictures of the children? So you had gotten, did you and your husband get to that point prior to all of this catastrophic stuff? Did you see the pictures? Was there a bond there?
No, there was not yet, but we actually had to change. We went to that agency was too expensive that we were with. And so we chose this one-man operation out of Oregon, and the economy was falling apart. Now, if he went bankrupt, we lost all that money too, and we don't go further with this adoption process. So that was a big risk, but it was all we could really afford at that time.
Mhm.
He was about half the price of what the big adoption agencies are. His name was Radu, and he was very blunt, to the point where the first baby we were placed with died of malaria. And he told my husband, "Don't tell your wife." And this is after we've gotten pictures, lots of pictures. They said, "Don't tell your wife." I was like, "It's not a goldfish. You're gonna know it's a different child, right?"
Right.
But he's like, "Don't tell your wife. Just we'll give you a new baby." But there was a lot of struggles that went. I was tested a lot. We all were tested a lot, but we were blessed with little baby Kai. You should probably take her out. We have a little dog. You should take her out. Kai, take her out.
So,
Yeah.
so it was pretty much, now you have to really shift the narrative here. You know, you're on the quest, you lost everything, you got to start the position, you got a brand new guy that you're working with. What was that like for you? How did everything start to turn around for you?
Well, I believe I just had a reason to wake up every morning when this was before blogs were even big. So not just the book, but like going to the library, riding my bike there, spending the time there, opening that computer up and starting. I didn't even own a computer. That's why I had to go to the library.
Okay.
But it just gave me a reason to wake up because I just didn't want to get up before I had a reason.
Mhm.
But I think when your drive is for something bigger than yourself,
Right.
it makes it stronger and more desirable. It wasn't about me. It was about them.
I wish everybody had that mindset. Seriously, my heart goes out. Yeah.
Everybody told me I was crazy. They said this was ridiculous. I started a business to, help other people with their diet and nutrition. And my husband didn't even try to get another job. He was helping me build my business, and everybody thought we were ridiculous. Our families thought we were so dumb.
Wow.
Look at, but you know what? I was just telling Jessica about this yesterday, and she did a podcast, and one of the podcasts, Alan said, sometimes you have to embrace the haters. You got to see the haters, you got to embrace them. And it's not even a matter of proving them wrong. It's sticking with what you're doing. What do you think about that?
Oh, and he actually said that if you have that, that means you're in the right direction.
Yeah. So you was doing the right thing. They just didn't see the bigger picture. But let's go back a little bit more. Your degree is the same as mine, both exercise science individuals, nutritionists. Did you have, and I had the same thing happen. I wound up writing a nutrition manual that went, well, now it's called viral, but it was actually before its time. But my question to you is, you're a world famous bestseller author right now. Did you have writing skills prior? Okay, good.
I got a D in English. It was a struggle, but I wasn't writing what I was so passionate about. I was writing what the teacher told me to write about.
That right there is the key.
Yeah.
Passion. When I finally found what my passion was and wrote that to help others. And I'm an introvert, but I was putting in my first book about my struggles, and I didn't even think anybody was reading it. I think that's why I came out so easily. Right. I just wrote it almost like it was a journal. All my struggles, all my mistakes with diet, because I didn't want other people to make them. It just came out easily.
Yeah. And it's funny you said that, because when I wrote my nutrition manual in 1990, getting into the sport of bodybuilding, I wasn't pro yet. I turned pro really, really quick, but I decided to do the same thing. I remember we didn't have internet. I had a computer, and but it really wasn't a computer. It was something you could type on, you know what I mean? But it wasn't a typewriter. And I just started writing, and I started saying, okay, let me take my journey down this bodybuilding career and learn from the mistakes. Even though I was reading books like the Arnold Schwarzenegger Encyclopedia and all these other things, they wasn't registering to the results I was getting. I realized that it had a lot to do with my nutrition. And I realized at the end of the day, all my results, the muscle mass, the fat loss, all came from a well-constructed nutritional regimen. With that said, let's go back to you. You're big on the keto formula method, but I'm not done yet. Let's go deeper. What was at least 3? I'm gonna see if me and you thinking the same. If the same thing happened to me as it did you. Yep. What were the 3 things that handicapped you during your exercise and nutrition regimens?
Like when I was in school, what handicapped me?
Yeah.
Being told that standard American diet was the way to go.
Don't that piss you off when you hear that now?
Yes, like having just the whole food pyramid was just so off, and I knew it was a big lie.
Wait a minute. Say that again, because the viewers didn't hear you, because I've been preaching this shit for years. The pyramid is what?
It's a big lie. It's all government propaganda.
Wow.
Okay, so what else? Give me some more.
That's a huge piece of the puzzle. It all stems back to where the money comes from.
Right.
Give me the money, where the subsidies are. And I think that's what the biggest problem is. We're not going from the top down. We're just doing it the wrong way. Gosh, what else? What sticks out in your mind?
Actually, if I'm gonna send you my nutrition manual free, so you can see. I already talked about that same concept. I'm gonna tell you like this. I was preaching this in the 90s when people were still amplifying the pyramid, where people didn't understand the the connection between carbohydrates, fibrous carbohydrates, microgramming, MCT, medium-chain triglycerides, the fat, how important fat is in the diet, and more importantly, people didn't understand this. Your body's already a fat burner because we produce a particular amino acid called L-carnitine that transports fat to the mitochondria. Can we go deeper? Can we go deeper?
That's wonderful.
Do we got time?
That's just like that is so deep. But also like that, you know, protein or red meat is going to cause heart disease and cholesterol is bad for you. Cholesterol, okay, so when people think that cholesterol is bad for you, think back breast milk, right? Breast milk is the best thing for a newborn, right?
Yes.
You know that breast milk is the highest form of cholesterol you could get. So do you think that God had an agenda to hurt that baby? No.
Could you repeat
That
that again? I don't think they heard you.
People with the lowest cholesterol usually get cancer. The people with the highest cholesterol live the longest, if you look at the studies.
Wow. Well, and
Wow.
I know Jessica got to time in because you know why? She loves aloe vera.
Yeah.
Give her your spill on aloe vera. Go ahead.
Well, it changed my life, and I agree. Nutrition is top priority. I always wanted to be a nutritionist. I never got my major on that, but I am passionate. Been reading and studying about food my entire life and experimenting. I actually always had low metabolism, and I started dieting when I was 8. My parents took me to diet when I was 8. So cutting fat, not eating eggs because it's full of cholesterol, all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so in my adulthood, I already heard about aloe vera, so I decided to try it out. And I take the best one out there. There's no preservatives, there's no water, no nothing. It's just pure inner leaf aloe vera from the most nutritional aloe vera type, which is Barbadensis Miller. So that's what I ingest every day after I wake up and have some water, and it completely detoxified my body. I felt more natural energy. And now, because my intestines are also happy, my serotonin production is great. So I'm feeling awesome. And my skin improved. I used to have skin issues. My skin is very sensitive. That all went away. And I know I just spoke, one of my best friends, she is all into keto, and she teaches me all the time about it because she's a deep researcher and she just loves it. That's her passion too. And we just did a podcast with her 2 days ago. I brought her in, and we talked about, I just asked her, what's more important if I want to start getting my health better? Start to exercise or start with what I'm eating? Hands down eating.
100% eating. Just, you can run a marathon and a half and burn 1 pound of fat. That is a lot of energy you're putting out there, you know, but when you just think about, you don't put diesel gas into a Ferrari, right? Like what you put in is going to give you a better output. You know, you have to treat yourself.
So
like
Maria, my question to you is, and naturally, I know about every diet there is. I've been around. I'm not going to tell my age. I've been around, so I've seen the diet. I've even heard of the spinach diet, the cauliflower diet, the biggest one of all, the cabbage diet. I'm like, oh my God, people, how important is it for a woman to start implementing a keto basic nutrition regimen into their diet, and what age bracket should they be more concerned about putting it into their regimen?
Well, first of all, when you do keto, you have to think about, why are you doing it? The 99% of people do it for weight loss, right? I mean, there's other benefits, epilepsy, seizure, things like that. And in that case, I'm going to do a high fat, moderate protein, low carb approach. But if it's for weight loss, we're doing a high protein, moderate fat, low carb approach. So I'm not saying fat is bad, but the reason for epilepsy and seizures that I limit protein is because that it could keep their seizures away. But if you're not worried about seizures, then we need to focus on protein, especially in the menopausal area when the leucine shift is going back down again. You need more protein to keep that muscle. But when you are menopausal, your estrogen drops. Hopefully you think about HRT for many, many reasons, your arteries, your bones, all of that. But also you become basically insulin resistant.
Mm.
Because that estrogen is so important for your gut, your brain. This is why brain fog happens, all the stuff. But you also become insulin resistant. That's why cutting the carbohydrates is so important. You can't eat the way you did when you were a teenager anymore.
Mm.
I could never eat that way, which I'm glad because I had to learn how to eat properly when I was a teenager.
How much protein how do we find out how much protein do we need?
I do have a free calculator on my website, but it's going to depend on your lean mass. Because if you do it on your whole mass, if you are, 100 pounds overweight, you don't want to eat that much protein. You want to eat it how much your lean mass is.
Makes sense.
Is it, see if I'm correct here, is it 1 gram per ideal body weight?
Yeah, or I do more lean mass, but
Okay.
Now, I don't think that I can actually eat that in meat every day. So would it be,
it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be meat. Protein can come in different forms. Like I have a cinnamon roll that's all protein. I have a Wendy's Frosty that's all protein. Like you can make it from not just steak, or it could be more interesting.
Maria, did you just say a
Yes,
cinnamon bun?
yes.
made
My
of
favorite.
protein?
When I was a teenager, when I was really overweight and had PCOS and depression and all this stuff, I worked at a coffee shop where before I'd go to high school, I would go to this coffee shop and I would make the scones and the muffins and the cinnamon rolls. Okay.
Mhm.
After school, I would go back to the coffee shop and we would close about 5:30, and whatever didn't sell, I got to go home with. So you think I'm lying, but I knew I knew on Fridays we would usually sell out a cinnamon roll, so I would make extra. So
Yeah.
I would have dinner. Remember Seinfeld eating the muffin tops? Like I
Oh my
Yeah, oh my God.
We're just talking about Seinfeld before the show.
yeah, I was eating the muffin tops because I had like 20 different muffins to choose from.
Okay,
But
what
that's
did you do? What did you do with the stumps?
oh, you can make cake out of that. You just make,
Wow.
Okay.
but that's what I was living off of. So to change my diet, I was not going to live off of chicken breast and broccoli because I do not like that.
Right.
I had to recreate my favorite foods into exotic, low carb, high protein foods. And so I did.
And you
That's
know what?
genius.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna. I'll let you finish. But I might just say that it's funny because my nutrition manual, and when I go and speak on nutrition, I tell people that I'm like, just be mindful of what you're eating and stuff, because I can't expect you to eat the way I do. I'm carb sensitive, and when I go, people like, well, why don't you eat this? Why don't you eat this? Well, my body reacts better to high protein. Plain and simple. I would eat 3 steaks and I'm good. And somebody said, well, you need your veggies. Your body will tell you what it needs.
You want to talk about veggies? I mean, we can get into that.
Go right ahead.
Please.
Go right ahead. Go
Most
right
of
ahead.
them have oxalates. And are you familiar with oxalates?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Most people aren't though. They don't realize that like if they have kidney stones or gout or these issues, a lot of it is calcium oxalate buildup. And what that is these plant compounds, especially kale, spinach,
Mhm.
celery. So people doing these juice cleanses, they're eating a lot of oxalates because that's all raw vegetables. If
Mhm.
you cook them, you're going to lower the oxalates, but that's still not something I recommend.
Yeah.
So these oxalates build up. And the reason I know about this is because when my husband was dealing with Lyme disease and pain,
Mhm.
but cut all of that out and became a carnivore, all of his pain went away.
Yeah.
So these they're like little crystals. Kiwi has a lot of them and they build up and they cause pain, joint pain, kidney stones, like I was mentioning. When you cut them out, sometimes you have oxalate dumping. You might have a sty in your eye or something like that, but it's worth getting it out. But also if you look at like a cecum, the cecum is a pouch in your gut. A lion's is a little pouch like this, okay? It's tiny. A koala bear's is really, really long, really long. That's because they digest fiber really well. Do
Yeah.
you know what a human looks like? A human's looks just like a lion. This is why if you eat a lot of broccoli or cauliflower, you get gassy.
Yeah.
Because we do not have that cecum that
Yeah.
a koala.
Yeah. I am so glad that you came on the show to amplify
I just love you guys.
Look, re-educate, because I've been preaching this for years, and the people, I don't know if they don't get it or the media has crippled their way of thinking about their approach. Because, I just answered the question. Thank you, Universe. You just answered it. You know why? Because money. Because
Yep.
money.
Yep.
I
And
tell people nutrition is easy. It's new.
people think that cows are ruining the environment, and but if you regenerative farming is actually healing the environment. It's like putting aloe on that ground, right? But you have to support those farmers that are feeding the cows properly to do the regenerative farming that the earth needs. But most people don't realize that, how important that is to our earth.
One thing I can honestly say is your journey and your passion for children, your passion for family, your passion for universal harmony and balance through all of those things is definitely what the universe needs. And you're definitely a beacon to all based on everything that you've done. And it's one thing I learned from your story is you're going to be met with resistance, and how you deal with that resistance really shows at the end that you have your beautiful family there, your adoption kids, you still have the strength and power of your husband. And that's really good, because that's evenly yoked in my book, to where he foreseed your husband saw so much value in the queen. And now look what's happening.
That was beautiful.
Now
That was
look
beautiful.
what's happening.
I also experienced that. Somebody else believing in me when I didn't. That's incredible.
You both are very special, and I just love that we have so much in common.
The universe puts people in the right place at the right
time.
At the right time.
I only wish that I could have been in person for this. I really do.
Well, if you ever come in this area, you have to let us know. Absolutely.
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Well, I live in
the greatest city in the world. Let me put it out there. The greatest city in the world. I'm going to rep my city.
Go Hoosiers, right?
That's right. Go Hoosiers, baby. Go Hoosiers. But
I live in Wisconsin in the summertime, so I am closer in the summer.
You in Hawaii. You don't need to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I do love Wisconsin in the summer. I hunt and fish, and I love all that.
Before we wrap up, how can the viewers reach out to you to support you, to get your book? How can and you know what? Even have you guest speak, because your story is beautiful. How can the viewers reach out to you?
I mean, honestly, you don't have to buy a book. I have thousands of free recipes on my blog, but if you go to ketomaria.com, it's the easiest place you're going to go. You'll find I have retreats where we go and just hang out in different parts of the world. There's free recipes there. If you go all the way to the bottom, I have free Facebook groups. I understand. I was very poor. People don't have to spend money to transform their lives. It can be free. So check that out. ketomaria.com. The calculator's on there too.
Awesome.
Oh, you want the calculator. You want to know about protein, huh?
No, she yes, because if you don't know how much you need, you're not serving your body the way you should be serving. So you need to know how much protein you need to get. And depending on what you get, like the amount of protein in a piece of chicken or a piece of meat or a piece of pork is all different, the quantity. So you need to know these things, or else you're thinking you're doing something right and you're not.
That's that Italian and that Brazilian accent of enthusiasm coming out of her right now.
She's got beauty, but she's also brains.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, you deserve the opportunity to tell people what keeps you going, what keeps you in that beast mindset.
All of the testimonies I get every day. I don't even ask for them, but I'll get, whether it be on the free Facebook group. Twyla on the free Facebook group lost 270 pounds.
Wow.
Just free information she was getting from us. We're on there all the time giving information.
Hey, goosebumps all over. That's amazing.
But just people getting off medications, getting off pain medications, blood pressure meds. Like I told you, walking again. with MS, you know, it's
My
just,
mom actually, she was starting to use a cane, and then she started doing keto with this friend of mine. She lost all the inflammation, gone.
I love that. And it's so true. And you just, what people don't realize, carbohydrates, when you put them in your mouth, they become sugar.
Yeah.
It's just, they just do. There's only 3 macronutrients and carbs become sugar.
And people have no idea of the relationship between carbohydrates converting into sugar, converting into fat, and more importantly, the last thing that happens in that is cancer-related issues.
Yeah, cancer loves glucose.
Yeah, it
Sugar.
feeds on
Could you
it.
say that again? Because I was about to say that. Could
Cancer
you
loves
please say
glucose.
that again? Yeah.
Cancer loves sugar. I mean, it just gobbles that stuff up.
The more sugar that you keep consuming, the more cancer environmental factors we set up.
We all have cancer in our body, right?
Yeah.
It just depends on if it's going to grow or not. I'm not going to feed it. I hope you don't either.
Thank you for saying that.
Now, the last thing we're going to do before we wrap up, something that's dear to you. You're now a mother. Your kids are adopted. Everything went through. What's that like for you?
I know that people see us as different colors, and so they see us as an adoptive family, but when we're together, we don't feel it at all. I'm sure you get that, Jessica. You don't feel that they're not a part of you. That's my
No.
arm. That's my arm. I mean, they're just an extension of me. We homeschool, we play games together every day. We watch movies together. Like my teenager says, "Hey mom, you want to watch a movie?" Like that's just, I want that relationship with them. I take them out paddleboarding with the whales out here. Like it's just,
Can
it's
you
just the
take
best.
me paddleboarding with the whales?
Will you come? How about we do a podcast here?
Hawaii would love it.
Ooh, wow. That would
Yeah.
be awesome.
Now,
Listen,
oh,
I tell my kids all the time. I said, you didn't come from here, right? But you came from here, and I chose you. And theirs has been studies that show that when you start having that relationship, the chemicals and everything that happens with the dynamics in every level that you can think of is exactly the same as if they were biological.
I know that. I mean, I'm gonna get a little personal here. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I know that my parents wish that we would have had our own. They don't get it. They don't get it. Just because they don't look like me doesn't mean that they're just,
Yeah.
I think like, it's just so much more love because, like you said, I chose them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know what? Let me say once again, thank you so much, Maria, for coming on the show. We're definitely going to take you up on an opportunity to go to Maui and do a live show there. We're going to paddleboard with the whales at the
You
same.
got my number. I'm serious.
Yeah, I'm serious too. That's on my bucket list. I'd probably be
Oh,
scared as hell, you know.
oh, my heart jumps out of my chest every time, but it's awesome. If you
Thank
go to
you.
my Instagram, I mean, that's my picture on
I saw that. Yeah, I
me,
saw that.
Right.
Yeah,
my son on the paddleboard with the whales.
yeah.
Someday the
That.
crazy mom took me on the paddleboards when I was just a little kid.
You know what, Maria? Thank you so much for taking time to come on the show. Definitely have you back. We're definitely going to Maui and take the show there and do all that good stuff with the whales. Ladies and gentlemen, and I'd like to thank my co-host,
Thank
Jessica
you.
Jarvis, with the new podcast, Jessica Jarvis Talks,
Love it.
premiering this spring, hosted and presented by the I Am Beast Network. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show.